everybody. Johnny Mays here with my friend, business partner, Chris Sarver. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, Johnny. How are you?
This is the initial episode of Expose Yourself on Marketable Sports. This is a new show that we are starting exclusive on our YouTube channel, Marketable Sports. And this show, Chris, is going to be covering a lot of subjects. Listen, neither you nor I have ever done a show like this before. So like you just said before we got on here, we're flying the plane while we're building it. So you guys are going to see the sausage while it's being made. But this show is going to be about athletes. It's going to be about coaches. It's going to be about scouts, agents, people in the sports industry, nil businesses, people who know about the nil rules and regulations. It's going to be informative, and we're going to interview players that are on our app, Marketable Sports. Of course, this show is brought to you by Marketable Sports. And today, the first episode, since you and I created it, Sarver, and our friends at Approachable Geeks, they're awesome. If you need software built, have them do it. But they built it. They took our idea. Here we are. We have the app that was launched in December. And the reason for this show came from that app. Marketable Sports is an app, but it's a multi-layered thing, Sarver. It's not only the app, but you see us out on Twitter and you see us boots on the ground at games. We were at the All-American Bowl in San Antonio. We were a sponsor of the Tropical Bowl and the All-America Classic down in Orlando. We're a sponsor of the Super Football Conference up in North New Jersey, and we were up there for the schedule release, which was a fantastic event. We've got this show, which is going to provide a platform for those players that are on our app, an opportunity to come on here and talk to us and tell us who they are. So that's what we have in store. Sarver, did I hit everything? Did I miss anything about what our show's about?
No, everything, you hit everything, and it's an exclusive opportunity for exposure for our players and for guests that we're going to have on, and it's a great opportunity for everyone. So let's hit it.
Our goal is to expose you, the athlete, and also peel back the layers on the sports industry. If you're not familiar with it and if you don't know it, then you are going to be surprised with how many layers there are and how much goes into it. If you're looking for a career in sports, you can see that there are so many different areas that can pique very different interests, whether it's from media or it's analyzing statistics or coaching and helping the young athletes. And we'll hit all those aspects. But let's talk today. Today's show is going to be dedicated to the app that we created, Marketable Sports. And this was a genesis from when you and I were representing athletes. We saw that there was a void in the industry. There was not a place for agents and players to connect to one another. And you would find things in piecemeal. We would find video here and stats there and go somewhere else for measurables. And a lot of times these messages were controlled by third parties. It wasn't the player that was controlling the message.
Exactly.
But we saw that void. And we, as people helping athletes at the time, we saw a need. We were like, how do you do this? And I think it was you, Sarver, that said, well, what if there was an app where we could link agents and athletes together? And that's kind of where it came from.
Absolutely right. And here we are. So what, 8 months later, and
8 months later, we went into the design phase. Through development, we started talking to a variety of different people, agents and scouts and athletes and coaches. And one common theme that we heard from coaches was, hey, this is a great app. This would be a great recruiting tool for me in recruiting players. This allows me to see players across the country that I may never see and never be aware of unless I run across one post one day on Twitter. the idea of, so at that point, we realized we got to open this up to more than just agents. So it's not just players connecting with agents. This is players showcasing themselves to agents, to coaches, to teams, to nil businesses who want to provide dollars to them because of their personality or something that goes along with their product. It really is a tool for many people to use in many different ways. So what is it? We created this app. What you see behind me is one of our players who created a profile. Rodney Coates, played at University of West Florida. He was one of the first players to join our Marketable Sports app, and he built out his profile. And you can see behind me, he's added all his accomplishments that include NCAA Division II National Championship. He's got his highlight videos on there. He's got measurables on there. These are all things that you can add to the profile. You add the stats, and we go back 4 or 5 years already. I think we go back to 2017. But then we will add every year going forward. So in future years, once you add your initial stats, you're going to be able to add your future stats. There's a section for measurables for your height, weight. And I'm talking about a football profile right now, but height, weight, 40 time, 3 cone, the short shuttle, vertical, broad, all those things that you would do in a traditional combine, those are contained within the football profile. You can add links to your social media accounts, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So what this does then, and what this provides to coaches and others who are looking for players or recruiting players, is all of this information is in one location. So the coach doesn't have to go to this website and that website and another website and say, send me your film, and then send me this and send me that. It's all in one location. So that's what it does for the coaches. Agents are able to look at them and evaluate player and see whether or not it's somebody that they want to add to their roster. Now, this isn't the be-all, end-all. There are plenty of websites and tools out there that go much deeper than what this app does. And the intention of the app is not for a deep dive. That's not what we're going for. It's an outline version of the player. It's an outline version of a coach or a team or an agent or a business. But what this does for a coach is, if they're recruiting and they've got 100 on the list, they're able to look at this first and narrow it down to 20 potentially before they go into their deep dive. It may allow them, hey, I'm looking for an offensive lineman that's 6'4", 280 coming into my program, and that's what I'm looking for. Right guard specifically. They can go all the way down in the search feature and be able to search for a right guard. If they're looking for offensive linemen out of Florida only, you can limit your search to location. You can limit your search to position. You can limit your search to a name. You can type in a player's name, and if they're on the app, their profile comes up. Now, we've been talking a lot about football, but we also have soccer profiles. We started with 2 sports, football and soccer, because the approachable geeks said, hey, look, you got to build the base, the foundation first, the platform. So let's start with just 2 sports. So we went with football and soccer. Soccer, we have players on the app right now. We want to see coaches get on the app. We want to see coaches on both football and soccer. The reason is because this is a showcase platform for the players, and they're showcasing themselves to coaches, to directors of coaching on soccer clubs. We are going to be an official sponsor and the Palm Beach Breakers AFC. As that, we are going to be a shirt sponsor, their 3rd kit. We had a little Twitter competition. That was fun. At the end of this, we did record the famous hat. You'll see that coming up later. We have a winner of our retweet challenge. But let's go back to the app. Sarver, in building this, I know there's a lot of features that you really liked, but what's the one, if you're coming from a trainer's standpoint? That's another thing. Trainers can get on here too. Anybody can get on. But from a trainer's standpoint, when you're looking at an athlete and before you have an opportunity to physically evaluate them, what are a couple features on the app that you would find helpful in evaluating a player before they come in to see you?
Yeah, if I'm a trainer, I'm looking at stats and I'm looking at measurables. Measurables most importantly because, I want to see what type of athlete this is that I'm dealing with and what potential he has as a player and where he's going to go and what level his potential is. So definitely measurables is number one to me. And then, looking at stats is too, but everything on here is user friendly for the agent, for the trainer, for the coach, for the scout, for whoever's on here. So yeah, measurables would be important for me.
So that's going to help you in your initial review before you see the person. It's going to help you kind of have in your mind an idea of where the training plan may go. And then obviously once you get them in there, you're going to take another look. But those kind of things, I mean, your initial evaluation, you're going to look at the height, you're going to take the height and weight when they come in there. Right. So
yeah, absolutely.
So those are things that you would be doing anyways, but to have that knowledge coming in. And then this goes back to something that we haven't talked about on this particular show, but it is a user-driven app. And let me tell you why I'm bringing this up, because it's real important. We talk about putting highlight videos up there, highlights of your game. But you can also put videos of yourself up there, show your personality, show who you are, go out there, take video of you volunteering your time at community events and put that up there. It shows another aspect of yourself, but and your profile is what you make of it. And so when I say it's user driven, it can be as good as a Rodney Coates, or it can be just a name and one or two things. But when you're putting this information in, we all have things we don't like about ourselves, but be straight up, because let me tell you something. You're putting a height and weight in there. If you are not straight up and putting your height and weight in there, that's the first thing that they're going to check. So what that does is then all of a sudden they say, oh, no, this person isn't 6'2", they're 5'11". They didn't even break the 6-foot barrier, but we still may be interested. But guess what? We got a lack of credibility on this part. This guy went out and is putting it out in public that he's 6'2" and he's really 5'11". Teams don't want to see that. And guess what? That word is going to get around not only from that team, because all these coaches are a tight-knit community. And coaches move around from college to college at times, but they keep those connections and they still talk.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, it's highly important that you put factual, credible, accurate information in your profile, because the coaches will find out what your measurables are. They can do that. So, I mean, we can do it, so they can do it. So it's definitely, important to put down factual information as accurate as possible and verified if possible by a strength trainer at your high school or your college, or if you were playing pro league somewhere, get factual information verified by a strength coach or a coach.
Two great points there. Version 2, we're going to have a section in there where players can go in and say, are these numbers verified? They'll check the box. They'll be able to input the information as to who verified the information. And if there's any links that go to a direct site for that person verifying, they'll have the ability to put that in. Right now, what you can do is you can put that in your accomplishments sections. You can say measurables verified by, and then an organization, you put the entity that verified that, whether it's a coach or your school or whatever, a trainer, whoever does those numbers and is willing to back those and verify those numbers. Now, this is one thing that before we go, because we're running out of time here, one thing I would like to encourage high school coaches to do, because we don't see enough of it. And it's fun for the players. It's great for the players. And the players who think that they want to move on to college, it's invaluable for them. And that is, hold a pro day at your high school. Do those drills that they would do at a college pro day or an NFL combine. That's the 40, that's the short shuttle, the L, the vertical, the broad. These are drills. Not only is it going to be fun and they get these measurables that they could input into the app, but they start learning and they get that body memory of how to do these drills, because if they're going to the next level, they're going to be doing those. So this is a good time. Might as well start learning how to do those in high school. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. I mean, coming from a trainer's background, it's definitely important for these players to get repetition. I mean, it's like any sport you play. You practice repetition to get better at something. So it's important that you go out and you learn these different drills and how to do them properly, and if fast and quick and effectively, so that you do get a good time for when you do take these tests, because these combine tests are important for scouts and for teams. So it's important that you take that seriously. And I definitely, it's a great idea, Johnny, talking about the coaches implementing this stuff for high school players. It's something that's not being done right now. Not that I know of, and I believe, you don't know, they're not doing it as well, but I think it's something that the coaches need to do and help these players out at the lower levels before they get to college.
Anybody who's played sports knows that muscle memory is key. Whether you're catching a pass 40 yards down with your hands in American football or with your feet in soccer or European football, you don't have time to sit here and think about everything that goes into catching a pass. It's that muscle memory. It's doing that. And that's what we're talking about with doing these pro days and at least introducing them to it. We're going to wrap it up here. Let me tell you something. This is Expose Yourself. It's a new show. We're going to be coming at you at least once a week, hopefully twice a week. Today's show is about Marketable Sports. Marketable Sports, you should download the app because it would help you as a player become more exposed. Expose yourself, market yourself, put your profile out there, share it on Twitter. We'll talk in the next episodes about future versions that are coming out. Coaches, this app would help you in your recruiting. It's another tool in your shed. Coaches are always free. Players only $1.99 a month. If you sign up before February 1st of this year, you get a free premium profile for a year. But again, Marketable Sports app, it's only $1.99 a month for players. Coaches are always free. That's what we can do for you. Get on the app. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. You're done. All right, here we go.
That was quick.
Yep, here we go. Now, hey, listen, I have family members in here. You guys should have retweeted more. 26 people in here. Here we go. And it's all I'm doing is I'm reading the Twitter handle. You ready?
Do it.
Wait, here. I got to do it on video. Okay. Look, hands out. Do it here. Come in. Bam. At Zephroys 21. Hey, we got an outsider with a win. At ZEPHROYS 21. Hey, Zephroys, I hope I'm saying that right. DM me at Marketable Sport on Twitter. We'll get your information. And as soon as those kits come out, we'll find out what you want on the back. You will get you a new kit top and maybe a little extra Marketable Sports gear. Of course, Marketable Sports will be on the kit. So that is Marketable Sports Gear. So, Harvey, you got anything else to close us out with?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to talk about that profile real quick that the players get on and do. We noticed that you're not filling out your profile completely. If you want to get the full advantage and exposure, you got to fill out that profile, put on everything, your video, your highlights, your stats. You got to do it all. You can't just put a generic little profile up there with a picture, and you got to put everything on there. So don't feel shy. We want to see it, so put it out there. Expose
Great point.
yourself.
This is no time to be modest. There are a lot of players out there who are modest. No. Expose yourself. Go out there and show yourself. You can be modest in other parts of your life, but you're trying to get recruited by a college. You're trying to move up to the next level in the pros. You're trying to get a nil deal. Well, guess what? You got to put yourself out there. And if you do a bare bones profile, you're going to get a bare bones response. Just like Sarver said, get it out there and do it.
Take all you've learned into it. It's alright, it's alright. The kids are gonna jump off the bridge tonight. It's alright, it's alright. The kids are gonna jump off the bridge tonight. Saturday nights, the kids are gonna jump off the bridge tonight. It's alright, it's alright. The kids are gonna jump off the bridge tonight. Travel rights for the new Saturday nights. Kids are gonna jump off the bridge tonight. It's alright, it's alright. The kids are gonna jump off the bridge tonight. It's alright. Kids are gonna jump off the bridge tonight. It's all